And if this video gets 1,000 likes, then I will absolutely do Rosalina before the movie. And because of your 1,000 likes, we are going to draw Rosalina in 4 different styles. And we're going to start off with the realistic style. You might be thinking to yourself, well, why start off realistically? Well, there's a specific reason for that. This was all done on my live stream. One of the beauties of doing a live stream is that, one, I get to communicate with all of you, and I had hundreds of people coming in and out throughout the live, which was in its own right, but I was actually able to take that video footage and I'm able to now break it down into a full-length video for you where I can kind of go over the art process. But if you want to hear more of my thoughts about how and why I create all of the things, you can go back and watch the 2-hour-long video. Might not be for everyone, but now you got 8 minutes where I can kind of get the entire version of Rosalina in a more digestible version. But before we get too far into this video, if you do like seeing Mario characters and you want to see Rosalina or Bowser Jr. or any other character, then please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It lets YouTube know you really like the content and helps me out along the way. Now, I did go into a lot more detail about how I draw hair, but for a quick refresher course, one thing that I do love to consider whenever I'm drawing hair is to think of it in the 3 tones: midtones, highlights, and shadows. And when you break them down to those 3 structures, it's a lot easier to digest. If you try to just draw each individual hair right off the bat, you're going to find that it's going to be a lot harder for you to draw the whole image. But if you break it into 3 little chunks and then divide it into midtones, highlights, and shadows, you're going to see that you're actually going to be able to figure out where all of these break down in the shapes that you're trying to apply. So as you can see here, when the hair flows out, I want to make sure that the hairline has all these bends where the shadows are. Where it's going to crease in, I want to make sure it has all these little shadows. It's all these little subtle things, but if you take the time to study them, it'll be a lot easier in the end. I didn't want to change the overall image of Rosalina too much. So as you can see, the hair structure is pretty much the same. In fact, the pose is going to stay pretty much the same throughout as well, because I just didn't want to change it too much. If I made this realistic and I changed the ear, and then I changed the silhouette on the Bowsette, and I changed the craft completely, then it would look almost unrecognizable as an image overall. So because of the features of everything, I wanted to still kind of look and feel like Rosalina at the end. And we're finishing up here with the staff, and you have to make sure that it looks and feels right. Because if you just draw like a quick little star, it's not going to resonate correctly. You want to make sure it feels and fits right with the character. So I really wanted to over-exaggerate the highlights and the shadows and let the color kind of just show through. By doing this, I think you get a much more recognizable image as 3-dimensional and not just a simple little cartoon star. Just adding some little hairs that we're going to throw across the face, and we're going to call this side complete as we now move on to Bowsette. And Bowsette isn't actually a canonical character, though she was created as an internet meme in 2018. She became kind of a fan favorite because it's like this unique spin on Koopa and Princess Peach merged into one. And if you've seen several of my shorts, you'll know that I kind of love these mashup characters. So it's kind of funny, but also it's just a character that people really seem to love. All jokes aside, it is a really cool silhouette to draw, and at this point I had to show my chat just how many markers I have. This is my 240 set, so I asked them which colors I should choose, because, well, there's a lot to choose from. And I wanted to also showcase specifically that, well, one, my markers were starting to die here. But 2, you don't need all of the best markers to create the best quality images. These are great quality markers for what they are, but they are also not a brush tip. They were a regular chiseled and pointed nib. So sometimes you don't get the same level of control as you do with a brush tip. But I always recommend that if you do have brush tips, to highly use them, because you can see the difference with the layering here. It just, with the bottom half, makes everything so much easier. Just finishing up with a nice thick bold outline across the whole thing to give it more of a cartoon feel, and then we are going to head on over into the cracked effect. And what is the cracked effect? Well, it's an effect basically makes Rosalina look like a cracked stone statue. Except we're going to add the color in and we're going to make it nice and bright and vibrant, just like the character is, but we want it to basically look like as if she has been cracked into several pieces or has several limbs missing due to age time of stone just being withered away. If you're new to my channel, I do like to try to take a lot of the classic styles that you might see out there, glitch, drip, and some of the other effects out there, and try and give it more of a little artistic upbeat. Also, I love trying to create new and exciting different styles. The best part about this effect is you can add as much or as little detail as you want. So here I'm going to add a little bit of 3-dimension, not too much because I want to kind of match the Bowsette. I want a little bit of shading, but not too much that it overpowers the image and you kind of get taken away from what the effect is supposed to be, and basically we want to see all those nice little spiderweb cracks. If we add too much detail, you might not see all those nice little spiderweb cracks. And similarly to like the rest of the piece, you can add as much or as little cracks as you want. So for me, I'm going to add a fair amount because I really wanted to make it look like it's nice and broken and beaten up, and it's the only way to kind of showcase that. But now we're going to head on over into the anime style. And for this, I took a poll on my channel, and all of you decided that you wanted to see me transform Rosalina into Demon Slayer. Now, this was a really complicated redraw, so I went over several iterations in my head and live on stream, but ultimately I decided to settle on the Insect Hashira Shinobu. And I think it actually fits really well when I go over the overall size and shape of the face, because it was a hard redraw. Several times you're going to see me here just erase everything away, just because it kept looking a little off. And maybe it's because the neck wasn't matching up or the face was a little too big, but because this was going to be the main forerunner, I wanted to make sure that all the proportions were correct. But by the time that I was finished with the overall drawing, I was extremely satisfied with the image that we have. It just came down to the inking afterwards, and that is where you need to really study the anime that you're drawing, because Demon Slayer has a very unique inking style. They use different line weights and line variances, especially around the eyes. There's not a lot of similarity in any other anime that I can relate to, but they do have a very beautiful and very unique and very liveliness to their lines. There's lots of movement in the way they draw their lines. In the future, let me know if this is something that you guys and gals want to see more of when I draw an anime character for you to see a specific design. Whether it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or Jujutsu Kaisen, anything that you might want to see. If there's a specific art style, let me know in the comments. But most importantly, let me know what you think of this overall design. Let me know what is your favorite character, what were you most excited for, and as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you all in the next video.